The email from Wilson Defense Systems sat unopened in my inbox, its subject line glowing with irony. Urgent. Security clearance verification required. 6 years after my family had mocked my choice to work for the Department of Defense, their multi-billion-dollar company was desperately trying to reach me. Ms. Winters. My assistant knocked on my office door. Your sisters called 4 times this morning. I smiled, remembering Amanda's last words to me at our father's retirement party. A government job? God, Olivia, you really can't hack it in the real world, can you? Let her leave messages, I replied, adjusting the security badge that marked me as one of the DoD's highest-ranking cybersecurity officials. I want to hear how she phrases her desperation. The corner office I occupied at the Pentagon offered a clear view of Washington's power centers, a daily reminder of how far I'd come from being the family disappointment. While my siblings had followed our father into the family business, I had chosen a different path. One they couldn't understand or control. Can't even get a real job, Amanda had sneered when I turned down a position at Wilson Defense. Have fun pushing papers for the government while we make actual money. What my family had never grasped was that my paper-pushing job involved protecting the nation's most sensitive military technology. That my government work had earned me a security clearance level so high, even the existence of some of my projects was classified. My phone buzzed, a text from my brother Michael. Liv, this is ridiculous. Just call Amanda back. The company needs this clearance for the new defense contract. Of course they did. Wilson Defense Systems had just landed their biggest opportunity ever, a $10 billion military contract that required top-level security verification. And guess who was one of only 3 people in the country authorized to grant that clearance? I opened my laptop, reviewing Wilson's application. The ironies kept piling up. The very division they needed clearance for was based on technology one had helped develop, back when they thought I was wasting my talent in public service. Another call from your father, my assistant reported. He says it's about the family legacy. The family legacy. That's what they had called it when they'd excluded me from company decisions, relegated me to the kids' table at business dinners, treated my career choice as a personal insult to the Wilson name. Mr. Wilson himself is holding on line 1, she added, referring to the CEO of the defense contractor partnering with my family's company. He seems anxious. Of course he was anxious. Without security clearance, the contract would go to their biggest competitor. Billions in revenue, years of development, all hanging on the signature of the sister they had dismissed as a failure. I thought back to the last family dinner I had attended 3 years ago. Amanda had just been named CEO of Wilson Defense, following our father's retirement. The celebration had been lavish crystal champagne flutes, gourmet catering, speeches about continuing the family tradition of excellence. To the real Wilsons, my father had toasted, pointedly ignoring my presence. The ones who understand what it means to build something meaningful. I had left early, driving straight to my office at the Pentagon where I was leading a classified project to protect military communications. The project that, ironically, had led to the technology Wilson Defense now desperately wanted to work with. My phone buzzed again, this time with an email from Amanda marked high priority. Olivia, this is beyond ridiculous. Whatever grudge you're holding, get over it. This contract is worth billions. You can't just ignore us because your feelings are hurt. I laughed softly, opening my secure terminal to review Wilson Defense's background checks. Red flags everywhere, rushed processes, skipped procedures, the kind of corner-cutting that happened when profit mattered more than security. Ms. Winters. My assistant appeared again. Your mother's in the lobby. She doesn't have clearance to come up, but she's demanding to see you. Of course she is. I stood up, straightening my blazer. Let me guess, she's wearing her disappointed mother face? More like her desperate to fix a crisis face. I walked to the window, watching the steady stream of military personnel entering the Pentagon. Each one had earned their place here through merit, not family connections. Each one understood that national security mattered more than profit margins. My mother's voice carried from the lobby phone. Olivia, this is childish. Your sister needs an answer on this clearance. The whole deal depends on it. I picked up the receiver, letting her wait a moment before responding. Hello, Mother. Need something? Don't be cute, she snapped. You know exactly what we need. This contract dash. Requires level 4 security clearance with special access privileges. I finished for her. The same level of clearance you all mocked as bureaucratic paper-pushing last Christmas. We were. She stumbled, probably realizing for the first time how many bridges they had burned. Things are different now. Yes, I agreed. They are. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting with the Joint Chiefs about the very technology your company wants to access. Olivia Marie Wilson. Her voice rose with familiar authority. You cannot let personal feelings interfere with family business. I smiled, though she couldn't see it. Actually, Mother, that's where you're wrong. My name isn't Wilson anymore. I changed it legally to Winters last year. And personal feelings have nothing to do with this. Security clearance is based on merit, protocol, and trust. 3 things Wilson Defense seems to have trouble understanding. I hung up before she could respond, turning back to my computer where Wilson's application glowed accusingly. Every page reminded me of another dismissive comment, another family dinner where my work was belittled, another moment when they had made it clear I wasn't a real Wilson. My assistant appeared in the doorway. Your brother Michael is now trying to get the Secretary of Defense to intervene. I nodded, unsurprised. The Wilsons had always believed enough money and influence could solve any problem. Let me guess, he's claiming national security interests? And family connections. He mentioned that his sister works here. Former sister, I corrected her. And I think it's time to show them exactly what that means. I opened my drawer, pulling out the file I had prepared 3 weeks ago when I first learned Wilson Defense was bidding on the contract. Inside was every security violation they had ever committed, every shortcut they had taken, every time they had placed profit above protocol. My phone buzzed one more time. Amanda again. This is your last chance, Olivia. Don't destroy the family legacy over your wounded pride. I thought about all the nights I had spent protecting that legacy, even when they thought I was just pushing papers. All the classified threats I had stopped, all the security protocols I had developed, all while they bragged about their real jobs in the private sector. Send in the evaluation team, I told my assistant. It's time for Wilson Defense to learn what real security means. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I heard Amanda's mocking voice from years ago. Can't even get a real job. If only they knew just how real my job was about to become for them. The Wilson Defense Systems headquarters gleamed in the morning sun, all glass and steel and overconfidence. I walked through the lobby where I had once been told I lacked business ambition, my Pentagon credentials now commanding more respect than the Wilson name ever had. Ms. Winters, Amanda's assistant, greeted me nervously. The board is waiting in the main conference room. Of course they were. The entire future of Wilson Defense hung on this security evaluation. $10 billion and their reputation in the defense industry balanced on the signature of the sister they had mocked for years. I heard Amanda's voice before I saw her. She's just being difficult. Once she sees the whole board here, she'll understand the stakes. I smiled, straightening my military-grade laptop under my arm. Oh, I understood the stakes perfectly. Better than they ever would. The conference room fell silent as I entered. Around the massive table sat the Wilson Defense Board of Directors, including my father, officially retired but still pulling strings. Amanda stood at the head of the table, her CO confidence wavering slightly at my appearance. Olivia, she started, then caught herself. Ms. Winters. Thank you for coming. I set up my laptop without responding, connecting it to their secure network, which I noted had at least 3 critical vulnerabilities my team had already identified. Before we begin, my father interjected, I think we should discuss this as a family dash. This isn't a family meeting, I cut him off. This is an official security evaluation for a level 4 clearance application. Shall we proceed? The room shifted uncomfortably. These people weren't used to being spoken to like this, especially not by the daughter they had written off as a bureaucrat. Now see here, Charles Wilson, my father's oldest friend and board member, began. We've been in defense contracting for 30 years dash. And in those 30 years, I interrupted, pulling up my first slide, Wilson Defense has accumulated exactly 2,947 security violations. Would you like me to list them chronologically or by severity? Amanda's face went pale. Those records are sealed dash. Nothing is sealed from my clearance level, Amanda. Including the 3 times you personally overrode security protocols to meet project deadlines. My brother Michael burst through the door late as usual. Sorry, was on a call with Senator Dash. He stopped short seeing me. Liv, what are you doing at the head of the table? Ms. Winters is conducting our security evaluation, Amanda said through gritted teeth. Let me show you what I've found, I continued, clicking to the next slide. In the past year alone, Wilson Defense has ignored 17 major security protocols, employed 3 engineers without proper background checks, and attempted to bypass federal oversight on 4 separate projects. The board members shifted in their seats, papers rustling nervously. That's just standard industry practice, Michael protested. Everyone does it, Dash. And that, I said sharply, is exactly why you're not getting this clearance. The room exploded in objections. Amanda slammed her hand on the table, my father started shouting about family loyalty, and Michael pulled out his phone, probably to call one of his political connections. I held up my hand. The room fell silent, a kind of power they had never expected me to possess. Wilson Defense Systems has demonstrated a consistent pattern of prioritizing profit over national security. Your application for Level 4 clearance is denied. You can't do this, Amanda whispered, her CO facade cracking. This contract, we've invested everything in this deal. Perhaps you should have invested more in actual security measures, I replied, pulling up more damning evidence. Like properly vetting the Chinese firm you subcontracted last year, or reporting the data breach in your R&D department. My father stood up, his face red. Now listen here, young lady Dash. No, you listen, I cut him off. For years you all treated my work as beneath you. Called it paper-pushing, bureaucratic nonsense. But while you were cutting corners and chasing profits, I was protecting this country's most sensitive military technology. I clicked through more slides, each one revealing another security violation they thought they had buried. That promotion dinner when you told everyone I couldn't hack it in the real world. I was leading a cyber defense team protecting military satellites. The Christmas party where you said I was wasting my education? I was developing encryption protocols that your company now desperately wants to work with. Amanda sank into her chair, the full weight of their predicament finally hitting her. The contract deadline is next week. Without this clearance, you'll lose the bid, I finished for her. And the 3 other contracts that were contingent on this one. Roughly 40% of your projected revenue for the next 5 years. Michael frantically typed on his phone. I'm calling Senator Harrison Dash. Senator Harrison can't help you, I said calmly. Neither can any other political contact in your phone. This isn't about influence or family connections. It's about national security. I stood up, gathering my materials. Your company has repeatedly demonstrated that it cannot be trusted with sensitive military technology. The evaluation is complete. The denial is final. Wait, Amanda called out, desperation creeping into her voice. What would it take to reverse this decision? I turned back to face them. A complete security overhaul. New protocols, new personnel reviews, new compliance officers. Basically, rebuilding your entire operation from the ground up. That would take months, my father protested. Cost millions. Yes, I agreed. Security is expensive. Strange how that works. I walked to the door, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. If you do decide to rebuild, you'll need a new CO. Someone with actual security experience. Amanda's face went from pale to red. You planned this. All of it. No, Amanda. You planned this. Every time you ignored a security protocol. Every time you rushed a background check. Every time you taught this company that profits matter more than protection. The boardroom had gone completely silent. These titans of industry, these masters of the defense contract world, sat stunned as their empire began to crumble. Your sister, my father started, but I cut him off one final time. Ms. Winters, I corrected him. Level 4 Security Director, Department of Defense. And you're right, I can't hack it in your world. Because my world has actual standards. As I walked out of Wilson Defense for the last time, my phone buzzed with urgent messages. Amanda begging for another chance. Michael threatening legal action. Family. My father switching between anger and bargaining. I deleted them all, driving straight back to the Pentagon where real work waited. Work that mattered more than profit margins or family legacies. 3 months later, I watched from my office as Wilson Defense's stock price plummeted. They had lost not just the big contract but 3 others that required security clearances. Amanda had been forced to resign. Michael's political connections had proven worthless against federal security protocols. My assistant brought in the morning briefing. Wilson Defense filed for Chapter 11 restructuring this morning. They're looking for a new CEO with security experience. I smiled, opening my laptop to begin another day of protecting the nation's secrets. Send them my condolences. And Sarah? If any other defense contractors call about clearance evaluations, remind them, security isn't just paperwork. It's protection. My phone buzzed one final time, a text from Amanda. You destroyed our family legacy. I typed back a simple response. No, I protected something more important. And that's what real jobs are about. Then I turned back to my work, surrounded by the power of real security, real responsibility, and real impact. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying what others built. It's protecting what truly matters, even from your own family. Especially from your own family.